Hannigan. Welcome back to musicmoose.org. Last lesson we got into some of the chording on the mandolin with just simply 2 fingers. Now we're going to expand that idea and we're going to get into using 3 fingers. And eventually what we want to do, and I'm going to say this over and over again, and all of our friends here at musicmoose.org are going to say this, every finger on the hand is going to have a responsibility. It's figured like a team. Okay? And the main person, of course, is going to be these 2 fingers. But this pinky also comes in very handy. And not in this lesson, but in lessons to come, we're going to get into this pinky and how you can work up dexterity and strengthen that finger. Now, where we left off last time was just simple 2 chords, your G, position. So now what we want to do with that, we want to bring in the G chord. Okay, we're going to add the 3rd finger now, filling out the chord. Okay, so we take our simple 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A string, and now what we want to do is do the 5th fret on the G, or the D string, I'm sorry. Okay, and that's pretty much, we're starting to get into the foundation of the bluegrass G chord. Again, we'll just take the fingers very slowly. 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A string, and then we're going to add that ring finger up on the 5th fret of the D string. Now remember from the last lesson, of course, the chord that lives right above the G is the C. And so now what we're going to do is add the 3rd finger to the C chord. It's got more of a meatier, kind of a full sounding, opposed to just the 2 fingers now, which is going to sound really good when you start chopping later on. And what I want you to do is start looking to see where your fingers are positioned too. This is very important when you start playing some lead mandolin. You want to follow through, and you can almost see a scale kind of shaping up just like that. And I'll do that. It's not really important right now, but to think about it later on where your fingers are landing, because now not only do you have the 3 fingers, you have the 2 fingers still there, and also you can lift up this other finger, and that's typically in the violin or fiddle world, that's a double stop. So we have our G, we have the 3rd, we come up, or we can actually, this time we're going to slide up, G sharp, to an A, to a B flat, to a B. And what you want to do, a good practice for this, is hitting the mandolin open, and then G, and then 3-finger G. We'll do the same thing with C. You hear how it sounds different each downbeat that I put to it. Okay, so once again, we're going to do G, and the triad of G. Same up with the C. Now in this position, between the strings, everything on the A and D, you're not really going to have to add the 4th finger that often. You can when you want to stretch it out and make it ring a little bit, but in this instance, just for basic chopping and keeping rhythm, 3 fingers when your root chord is on the A and the D string is all you're really going to need. So I'm going to use C as an example here. So we're taking the C chord, 5th fret on the G string, we're going to add the full C chord, and we're going to slide it up 2 frets. Okay, and on the printout that I'm going to provide, you will see once you go up 2 frets, you're at the D. Go up another 2, you're at the E. And the positioning on the fretboard is very repetitive all throughout. So you could do the same thing. Now you're going to run out of strings when you go up to the F. You have nowhere. If you're playing a mandola or a 5-string mandolin, you will see that you can bring your finger up here and hit a full F chord as well. But just for the mandolin, because we only have the E, A, D, and G string, we can't do that. So we want to, maybe we could fill it out with something like that. Now while we're here too on these 2-finger chords, this is something to introduce too. On our good friend, the old G chord, if we take our index finger, our pointer finger, rather, and just slide it back towards the nut 1 fret, we have a minor, okay? And this works in this position all throughout the mandolin, too. So here's my G, and here's my G minor. Now I'm going to try this. If this works with this position, here's my C, the same exact 2 fingers, the same exact spacing on the strings. I'm just going to slide my index finger towards the nut of the mandolin. to the G. Now it works the same way all across the fretboard. Let's try it with A. Does it work with D? I think it will. Let's try it out. Now what's really good about these simple little exercises, not only building strength in your fingers, you're going to find out the first couple of times that you're pushing the fingers down on the actual fretboard, it's going to feel like your fingers are being sliced. But I promise you, the more time you put into the instrument, the more and less painful it's going to be. You're eventually going to build up calluses and just a basic strength to the instrument altogether. So let's try what we just did, just the 3 finger chords. Now wait a minute, I noticed something there. There's my G chord. Now what if I slid that finger back like Anthony said to do? Now there's a 3-finger minor. So that's what we're going to get to the next video. Join me again at musicmoose.org for some more exciting mandolin techniques.